Fumblerooski Podcast, Power 88 Dean Radio. Welcome back. We were just discussing Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers in the MVP race. So this thing's still not over, right? But I think the other day did not help Patrick Mahomes by any stretch whatsoever. With the amount of and you mentioned he was facing the Miami Dolphins defense. Well, yeah, he's also, like I said, surrounded by a ton of weapons, right? He's surrounded. He's supposed to be the next Tom Brady, as you say. If he's like that, surrounded.
I think he can. He has a chance.
If he's like, then if he does, then why is he throwing 3 picks against Miami?
Okay, like everybody has a bad game. Like Brady, hasn't had a bad game before.
Right, but he hasn't done that.
Everybody has one.
He never did that in any of his MVP campaigns.
Who, Brady?
Yeah.
Well, what can I say? And Mahomes is probably gonna be an MVP, discussing MVP throughout his career. Like Brady, he's had to have a couple of bad games in his MVP year.
Well, you can't.
2007 we could probably refer to.
2007? We can.
Yeah.
Probably? What do you mean probably? He had 50 touchdown passes.
8 interceptions.
What was that?
That's what I'm talking about. 8 interceptions.
And 50 touchdown passes to 8 picks.
A 6 point something.
5,000 yards.
Yeah, but then if you can compare Mahomes to that, and not even Brady's obviously been playing through a while from what? When was the starting one? 2000? 1999? I don't know when his starting job was. 2001. Mahomes, he's played 2 years or something like that. Obviously, we don't count his rookie year because he was benched, but he's going to be an MVP discussion throughout his career. I'm not even going to say that.
Is he the MVP this year?
That's the thing.
That's the thing, because Aaron Rodgers has something to say to that.
Has he? Well,
I think he has, yeah.
Who's the MVP? Rodgers or Mahomes?
It's tight. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It depends how these two starting quarterbacks pan out.
It's a tight race, but if you told me today who's the MVP, I'd give it to Rodgers based off the performances of Sunday.
See,
and maybe I would say Rodgers is there, but I'm gonna have to give it to Mahomes by a little bit.
The only thing he beats him on is yards. Rodgers has more 39 to 32, less interceptions 5 to 4. Or somewhere around that ballpark. I think it's 4 to 5. Rodgers way.
Mahomes has 33 touchdown passes and to five interceptions. Rodgers has 39 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. He has him in passer rating to 119.7 to 112.3. So he has him in every statistic except passing yards.
And he's doing it with less weapons. Outside of Devontae Adams, who exactly puts fear in you? Robert Tonyan's a good tight end, but not better than Kelsey. Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Well, you got Aaron Jones, who's probably better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even though we really can't compare Aaron Jones to a rookie.
Running backs aren't really a huge thing with how the quarterback is doing. It certainly helps.
How you use them. It depends on
how it helps. It depends.
Because sure,
Jones is kind of used as a almost like a Derrick Henry type in receiving.
Yeah.
No. I don't know.
Also, Derrick Henry, if you're going to compare Derrick Henry to anybody with receiving, then that's not a good comparison. Because Derrick Henry is one of the more one-dimensional backs in the league. He's literally strictly north-south runner, just straight through the pile. He doesn't he doesn't receive the ball at all.
That much.
So if you're gonna, it's not. That doesn't say anything when you say he has Derrick Henry type receiving numbers.
No.
I wouldn't doubt that Aaron Jones actually has better numbers than Derrick Henry.
Like, for example, like as far as like quarterback helping or running backs helping the quarterback, I would look for like Alvin Kamara in that department because he's great out of the backfield with catching and yards after the catch.
I would look at two. Even though one of them's hurt, I would look at two. Just not just Kamara. I would even look at McCaffrey. I know, So yes. All right. So I was wrong, obviously, about like the Derrick Henry. I should not even said Derrick Henry, but that's the first name that popped in my head. Aaron Jones. Then I really don't know what running back has more receiving. I really can't say McCaffrey or Kamara because those two put up better receiving numbers than he does. So I really don't know about Aaron Jones, but Aaron Jones is kind of one of Aaron Rodgers' receivers. He uses him a lot. He obviously uses Tanyan. Same with Adams. He uses Lazard and Valdez-Scantling very minimum. But, yeah, I know.
Well, I wouldn't say minimum. He manages to spread the ball out very well. He does target Devontae Adams very frequently, but let me ask you, wouldn't you, if you were the quarterback and you had one of the best receivers?
No, I would.
He still manages to spread the ball around. Just if he's going to throw to any receiver when he needs to, and he needs a catch or a touchdown or anything like with that sort, then you're going to Devontae Adams because Devontae Adams is, especially this year, one of the best receivers in the league, hands down.
Pre-route and after the route, he's the hardest check of the line to deal with. So, yeah, if you have Devontae Adams on your team, you're in a pretty good spot as a number.
I'm just surprised that a lot of teams just haven't, like, double covered him a lot because that's really only Rodgers' weapon.
Because he has more weapons.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't use them as much as Devontae Adams.
You can double him if you want to. You're just going to leave Robert Tonyan open for a touchdown. That's the problem with doubling Devontae Adams.
Right.
Rodgers in the pocket and just wait for somebody to get open.
And if you watch the games and you look at some of Rodgers' scoring plays, a lot of his touchdown passes wind up being to, say, a Robert Tonyan or a Valdez-Scantling who are left wide open. Why is that? Because of Devontae Adams. So they're all good players, but that's what it turns out being.
Yeah, he's right, Justin. Yeah, I have to give it that to Adam. I looked at that Jacksonville game. When I saw Valdez-Scantling gain that deep throw from Rodgers, I saw when they showed the replay, Devontae Adams was being covered, and he just left Valdez-Scantling wide open for running into the touchdown. He knew where he was going with that. I know what Jacksonville was trying to do. They were trying to do too much with Devontae Adams because they know he's the number one threat. But you cannot sleep on these, like, minimum player receivers like Alan Lazard or Valdez-Scantling.
You're not exactly sleeping on them, but you're not giving them the most attention. You have to give Devontae Adams the most attention because
I agree. Yes. Yeah. If you double guard him, you don't give him the ball. You just pass to the receiver who just like leaves him. But that's exactly what happened with Valdez-Scantling in Jacksonville. That's what's going on with Robert Tonyan when it comes to the end zone because they always guard Devontae Adams in the end zone. They double guard him. You can see why Robert Tonyan's being penning out because what teams are doing with Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is is basically making Robert Tonyan into a tight end, a great tight end.
But he is a tight end.
He's a very good tight end.
Well, yeah, that's
He's having a decent year this year.
But you also look at the other side with the Chiefs, and they have an actual great tight end who's making Tyreek Hill look like even more of a great wide receiver than he is when he already is great. So you have those two weapons. You have
with Tyreek Hill
pieces like Mecole Hardman or
Sammy Watkins.
You have a great back who you can throw to.
Clyde
Edwards-Helaire, who can do both run and catch. And now you have a goal line back in Le'Veon Bell. So they can literally do everything. And this is an offense that Mahomes is surrounded with talent from. that has a great defense, and he threw 3 picks against any team. So you have all of this talent around him, and he threw 3 picks. I know it's a great defense, and everybody has a bad game every now and then. But when you have talent like this, there's really not much. There's not much excuse to throw 3 picks.
The only thing is for as far as like excuses are like tip passes and things of that nature. That's the only things. Like, because sometimes tip passes do happen in the NFL. It's just a part of the game.
No, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if that happened on one of his picks. But
I don't think it would have changed the fact it would have gotten picked.
Okay.
Because I think I saw that interception. I'm pretty sure if it didn't get tipped, the person who tipped that ball would have intercepted it. So that's an interception is an interception.
Yeah, there's no getting around.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So that game, I thought going into this game, Patrick Mahomes was going to take the MVP again, but after this game, it was a big turnoff for me. And as much as it pains me to say it, because I hate Aaron Rodgers, I respect him, but I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate how people try to say he's better than Tom Brady. He's not. But Aaron Rodgers, I think, took the lead this weekend.
Yep.
Now there's still 3 games left. It's still close, but I think Aaron Rodgers is definitely the front runner at this point.
But I don't think people give like Miami's defense enough credit for how like stifling it can be.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I don't know. Like you look at Miami's defense and you look at what their line is capable of with like Wilkins on that line. Then you look at Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. You look at their safeties and McClain and Rowe. I look at that Miami defense as a great defense, and no one gives them attention. They're all focused on like the good defenses in like Baltimore or Pittsburgh or for some reason Buffalo.
The Saints,
who has not been a great defense this year. The Saints starting to pick back up, even though they start off slow. The Packers too, kind of. I don't really know. I don't even know about them. I would say the Chiefs too, but yeah, and the Rams too. But you got to give Miami credit.
I think people are now more aware of them.
There are 2 defenses out there that I think that should be given credit, and that should be the Giants and the Dolphins.
I'm not saying I'm not going to give Miami credit, but they're facing one of the best quarterback on the planet right now.
Yeah.
And he's having an MVP caliber season. I expect him to play better than to throw 3 picks. Growing up being a Brady fan and watching Brady play, whenever he faced these top tier defenses, when he faces a 2014 Seattle defense, when he faces the 2015 Broncos, when he's facing the 2017 Jaguars, they play him tough, but he still plays well against them. And he takes the top off these defenses. Miami's nowhere close to that. And he's throwing 3 picks against them. That's all I'm saying. I know Miami's a great defense this year. Very, very good defense. But they're not all-time great to the point where you're making Patrick Mahomes throw 3 picks.
I think they are. I think he threw 1 ball to Tyreek Hill against Xavier Howard in All-Pro this year. And Xavier Howard backwards made a one-hand catch. That guy has 9 picks through what?
Dude, Xavier Howard's probably Xavier Howard's like one of the best tight ends in the league. Or not the best tight ends. Cornerbacks. Yeah.
So like I said, I agree.
These things happen.
I agree. Their defense is great. I'm just saying it's not all-time great. Byron Jones combined with Xavier Howard, great combination. Yeah. Awesome duo, but their run defense is just middle of the pack. They're facing Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. They're just not all-time great. This is more on Patrick Mahomes.
I agree.
I can see that. Yes, obviously. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the next segment. So the Buffalo Bills, they just beat the Steelers, who were previously 11-1. So a big time win now. They now have a 10-3 record.
Part of that.
Right. So they now have the 3 seed. Their remaining schedule is at the Broncos, at the Patriots and versus Miami. So this is a team that is starting to make its case to be a contending team in at least the AFC, possibly the NFL, but we'll have to see about that. But where do you guys see the Buffalo Bills going from here on out? Are they legit contenders?
First off, if they're contenders in the AFC, then they're contenders in the the NFL, because I don't really see much in the NFC right now. As far as
I'm not even gonna say I am gonna say contenders in the playoffs, but
I believe they are legit contenders. They have a good passing game right now. They have a true number one in Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen is proving himself to be almost an MVP caliber quarterback. He's definitely improved himself since last year. Still has to work on his fumbles, but he's still a very good quarterback. The line is better. The run game is decent. The defense is finally picking back up. You saw it against the Steelers.
Pittsburgh.
So yeah, I believe they are a legit contender, but I don't think they'll get past Kansas City. But that doesn't mean they're still not contenders.
They could definitely get past. They could definitely get past the Ravens and whoever else they have coming up. But yeah, the Chiefs are gonna be the real struggle with them.
Man, you did not hear the schedule, did you?
Broncos, Patriots, Miami.
The Ravens aren't even on their schedule.
Ravens aren't on their schedule yet anymore.
No. Yeah, so if we mean the playoffs, I don't sweat it, but it will be a challenge. So
yeah. I'm gonna go with a yes on that, as in their contenders, say in the AFC. But if they make it out of the AFC, sorry, they have there's the Green Bay Packers, who we were talking about. They have a very good offense. Their defense is
a little shaky.
It's shaky, but it's
good. I don't know how to describe
competent, serviceable. We have the New Orleans Saints, where once Drew Brees is back, they could easily become a Super Bowl contending team.
With Drew Brees back, I don't know about Drew Brees coming back.
You don't think Drew Brees coming back will make them a Super Bowl contending?
Well, no. I'm saying I don't think he's going to come back this year. If he comes back, then yes, he's going to be a Super Bowl contender. But I just don't see him coming back this year after what that injury just did to him. Having a collapsed lung, broken ribs on each side of his body. If he has some sort of injury again, he's definitely done for his career. I don't see him coming back this year. I see Taysom Hill just going throughout the whole entire time. He's done well for impressing by Drew Brees, but I don't see Drew Brees coming back.
Yeah, well, we can have that conversation another time. But so you don't see New Orleans, I guess. But so then,
well, I do see New Orleans. It's just that it depends with them. I don't know who they're going to face in the first round, because the NFC obviously has a lot of teams still competing for playoff races. I don't really know who the Saints are going to face. It depends what their challenges are going to be. What do they have to do to make it as far as they could go?
Yeah, well, they have Green Bay, they have the Rams, they have Seattle, Tampa Bay. There's some good talent in the NFC, and it's certainly not a cakewalk. They just lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. It was just, as we just previously said, it's not exactly a team that with Taysom Hill, they seem very beatable.
Yes.
Even with all their weapons that they have back, with Sanders, Thomas, Kamara, you can mention Murray in there, Jared Cook at tight end. They have a great surrounding roster. Their defense is getting healthy and they're starting to perform again. But with Taysom Hill at quarterback, as much as I love him as an athlete and all-around NFL player, as a quarterback, he just seems just serviceable to me. More of just a run-first, almost Lamar Jackson running quarterback.
No, he's not.
Lamar does not fumble as much as Taysom Hill. I could see him as being a Cam Newton type quarterback.
I'm just saying this in the play style, not as good as Lamar Jackson. There's no way he's better than Lamar Jackson.
Oh yeah, we could all agree with that.
I'm just talking about the play style.
I guess.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I could see him being more of a Cam Newton play style quarterback than Lamar, because Lamar knows when not to run the ball or not.
Okay, but so the Bills, they are again 10-3. So if they aren't going to beat, so if they're not going to beat the Saints, or if they don't make it out of if it's not the NFC, then who in the AFC? Do you see them being? We know what the Chiefs are, but
Yeah.
can they contend against the Chiefs? And are they better than Pittsburgh at this point?
These are my picks. These are my picks here. For going to the Super Bowl, I have to give the top 3 picks to the Chiefs, Steelers, and Bills. The underdog, who I think people sleep on, could be the Browns.
The Browns?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They could easily put Kansas City to their knees, probably. With the offense I looked at last night, I think they're capable of doing it. I think they could beat Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh's really banged up with their linebackers and all on their defense. They could beat the Bills. I just looked them. I almost watched them beat the Ravens last night. That's just saying something. The Browns can easily beat those 3 teams, I think.
They contended with them, but
I think they're
say much.
I think they're just the under.
How the Ravens have been this year.
I think they're under. I think they're just under. I think they're like the underdog pick that no one thinks of. I think people have been sleeping on them.
You mean dark horse? The dark horse pick?
Well, yeah. Well, I always go
underdog.
Right.
The Bills. Yeah, they're better than the Steelers, because the Steelers can't find competent wide receiver play. I don't know why Deontay Johnson keeps dropping passes. They struggle moving the ball down the field. Their defense isn't the same as it was earlier on because of Bud Dupree. They're sending unnecessary pressure. I can see them very easily beating the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs. I see them they can beat everybody in the playoffs except Kansas City. That's the only thing. What I see is the Chiefs, the Packers, and the Bills right now as the top 3 teams that are going to make the Super Bowl.
And that does still say a lot, to say that they can beat anybody. You can easily see them beating anybody in the AFC outside the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are the overwhelming favorite, I think, out of any of these teams in the entire league, NFC and AFC. So that does say a lot. I think if we talk about what's going to kill them and what will help them, so they have their defense that is overall in the middle, kind of. Their run defense is not all that good. They have a solid secondary, but their running game doesn't scare you all that much. Although Singletary and Moss have combined for over 900 yards and a few touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But
is it enough to scare a team?
Yeah. Zach Moss and Devin Singletary aren't going to scare you when you look at. They're not going to respect that run game. But if you look at their receiving core, Stephon Diggs has made his case this year. He's made that big stride that we were all waiting for, as being arguably one of the top 5 receivers in the game this year.
Yep.
He has over 1,100 yards. He already has 100 receptions and 5 touchdowns, and there's still 3 games left. He's having an all-pro type season.
You know what? I have to give him. I have to give Diggs credit. I think he made the right move being traded out of Minnesota. He did not want to be in Minnesota. Cousins is not his quarterback. I think Josh Allen is his quarterback. You compare his numbers from this year to last year. Diggs is better with Josh Allen than he is with Cousins.
Because he's the number 1 now. Adam Thielen was the number 1 in Minnesota.
Well, to me, Adam Thielen should have never been the number 1. He should have been the 2 behind Diggs. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Adam Thielen to me is just not a consistent wide receiver. I don't know. It depends. He's on and off sometimes. I don't know. It's going both ways. I just think Diggs should be the number one. Should have been the number one there. But yeah, like going back to Diggs being with the Bills I think found their piece of the puzzle in Diggs, and they could possibly go all the way. 1 year
with Stephon Diggs.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. Another side note for their receiving core, Cole Beasley is quietly having a career season so far with 71 catches for over 800 yards, 4 touchdowns. Extremely underrated player.
Big up Cole Beasley.
And he came into the season as their number 3 option behind John Brown. The only issue is John Brown's only played 8 games this season. Now, he's been good in the games he's played, about 29 receptions for about nearly 400 yards, a couple touchdowns. So in John Brown's absence so far, and even with John Brown, Cole Beasley is having a career year with Josh Allen. It's starting to work out. So if we look at their strengths and weaknesses, I don't think they really have much of a weakness, so to speak, but they do have a strength, which is their passing game. So this is a team that they're going to live by the pass and they're going to die by the pass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even look. I mean, I think John Brown's replacement right now, Gabriel Davis. He's not a bad receiver. I thought he was. I never knew about him. He's not bad. Like he could be like a number 3 there, behind Cole Beasley and Diggs. John Brown might be out of Buffalo because I don't know if he's going to be staying. But I like Gabriel Davis. I think he's a rookie this year, I believe. But I like him with Josh Allen.
Yeah, they have a great overall passing offense, and I think they're going from last year to this year. Their biggest acquisition, their biggest difference maker from last year to this year has probably been Stephon Diggs. Oh, yeah. And just to add on to that already very, very good passing offense. They lacked a true number 1 last year. They just had a couple number 2s in Cole Beasley and John Brown. But now they have Stephon Diggs in that mix, who is their go-to guy. So their defense isn't quite as good as it was last year, but it's still okay. It's serviceable.
It's just been injuries. I mean, it is what it is. You really can't. That's not really falling on the defense, but it is what it is. You really can't. Obviously, it's been struggling.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think this is a team that has proven this year so far that they can be a contending team. They have the potential to maybe upset Kansas City. So once they get out of the AFC, if they can, that's another conversation to be had. There's some tough competition there. I would say they're contenders. They can possibly win, but this is a team that they'd have an uphill battle. They'd have to play their best football ever. So that's a team that could have a chance. So why don't we transition into our final segment? So segment 5. What a game the other day. Sure. We had the Ravens against the Browns, winning 47-42 in an absolute thriller. So there were 4 lead changes in this game. There were 89 total points between these two teams who were just going back and forth. Mm-hmm. We had 35 of those points in the fourth quarter. So It was an absolute thriller. It went absolutely down to the wire. Mm-hmm. So how are we feeling about the Ravens? Where are the Browns right now? And do we believe that the Ravens are kind of having this little final push to get late season push to get into the playoffs? Do we see them making it into the playoffs and maybe doing some damage once they get there, if they do get there?
If we get there, then yes. I believe we're a bad matchup for anybody that can't stop the run because we'll just bludgeon you with our running because we can easily go over 200 on anybody. My thing is, after watching the game, I love the fact that I have Lamar Jackson on my team. That man,
On your fantasy team?
not just in fantasy, but on my Ravens team. That man had cramps. Yes, he had cramps. He came back, delivered that ball to Marquise Brown, who caught the ball, thankfully, and gave me a touchdown. Baker Mayfield showed up, showed out, came back and said, "Here's that touchdown right back at you. What you got?" And then with a minute and 4 seconds, Lamar Jackson went 4 for 4 for 38 yards to set up the game-winning field goal by the one, the only, the best kicker in the league, Justin Tucker, to hit that game-winning field goal. And then the Browns, for some reason, got a safety. and because of that, a whole bunch of gambling that's just messed everything up. So I think we have a very easier schedule than most people in the league. We might have the easiest schedule. We have the Jaguars, the Giants, and the Bengals. All of them, all easy wins or very easy games to win. So if we can get 11-5, I believe one of the three teams there in the wildcard spots right now will lose, and therefore will get in just by the virtue of I don't know if the Colts will beat the Steelers, or I don't know if Miami will beat the Bills. So I'm hoping one of those two teams will lose, and then we'll get into the playoff spot.
Right. They certainly have the schedule to win out, go 11-5, and get back into the playoffs. I agree. Any team that can't stop the run is going to wind up having trouble with them. Just the issue is once you get in the playoffs, you're going to face good teams. You're gonna run into a team that can stop the run, and they're going to force you to throw it. I'm still not confident in Lamar Jackson's ability to throw the ball when he's forced to throw. You know, in that game was a typical Lamar Jackson game. He threw for just over 100 yards, and I think just one touchdown, right? And he ran for 132 yards and 14 carries with two touchdowns.
Yeah.
So if the Browns were able to stop the run in this game, it's a blowout. The Ravens don't sniff a victory.
I could say the same thing about the Browns. Same here. If we could just stop the running backs, we would have won the game easy.
That's true. But so don't they have this unbelievable defense led by Calais Campbell on that front seven?
Yeah, when you look at the Browns, I only see like Sheldon Richardson on that line.
Myles Garrett.
They have a pretty good defense. Their run defense is good this year.
So I don't understand why you think that the run defense isn't good for the Browns.
It's pretty good, Brian.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad. I know it's good. Yeah, but when it comes to the Ravens, Calais Campbell's there, Matthew Judon right in the middle.
Calais Campbell was dealing with injury, and that's why he was.
Yannick Ngakwe, I always pronounce his
Yannick Ngakwe.
Yeah, I always pronounce this guy's name wrong. I don't know. It's a weird name anyway. But yeah,
God.
Like both of those defenses to me should have stopped that run, and neither of them didn't. But
it was just a bad night for defense.
It was just a bad night for both defenses. If I would say, if you look at the score, it kind of proves it. Mm-hmm. To me, this was like the best game so far that's been played.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I don't really know a close second.
So, looking at the playoff picture right now, they're still on the outside looking in. Mm-hmm. They're tied with Miami, and record-wise at 8-5. Because of their conference record, they're on the outside looking in, just behind Miami. So, if they can win out, they're probably going to make the playoffs. You could see them. I don't know if Cleveland can actually win out this season. So, given how Baltimore,
if they lose to Pittsburgh, then yeah, we can be in.
They can overtake them for the 5th seed, and they could wind up with fairly good seeding. As it stands right now, they would wind up facing Tennessee,
I want that. I want that so bad. You have no idea. I want that so badly. I just want Deshaun Elliott to crack Derrick Henry one good time. If I can get that, I'm satisfied.
So, yeah, second year. So we have a rematch if that happens. So they did stop him last year. And it wasn't necessarily close.
Yeah. No, we didn't stop
Derrick Henry was just being Derrick Henry
against us. This year we did much better, but we didn't have Brandon Williams and Calais Campbell, and it showed in the fourth quarter because we couldn't stop him in overtime.
And if you do stop Derrick Henry, you still have a very, very good passing offense. Ryan Tannehill throwing to A.J. Brown, Corey Davis. You have Jonnu Smith taking a great second-year leap when he's healthy. So this is a team that fires on all cylinders. Their defense has taken a step back overall. It has not been good since they lost Logan Ryan.
Yeah.
And Malcolm Butler clearly is not what he once was with New England.
Mm-hmm.
No, their defense is just falling down. Clowney was just Clowney. Yeah, expect all that money and he didn't give you anything. Yeah, but he didn't give. But Clowney didn't give you anything this year.
Mm-mm.
He wanted all that money, and he didn't give you anything. I don't care if he's injured or not. He didn't get. I don't think he's recorded like at least one sack this year.
He did.
I saw Vic Beasley getting released in midseason. Malcolm Butler, obviously not the answer. I looked at clearly Malcolm Butler's not the answer because when you look at what Cleveland did to Tennessee, they killed them. But Tennessee's defense is their biggest weakness.
I'm not worried about their passing offense though because I have Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. Knock on wood. I hope Marcus Peters is healthy. But if both of them stay healthy and Jimmy Smith can stay healthy, I'm not playing with him. He better stay healthy. Then I'm not worried about their passing attack.
I would just roll with Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, and I don't know who's the other guy. Anthony Everett, isn't he the other one?
He was inactive, but hopefully, actually, Tre'Davious Harris.
He got burned a couple of times last game.
Yeah, just one time. I think it was just once or twice. But overall,
I understand that, but you cannot have that in the playoffs, especially against Tennessee.
That's why I want Jimmy Smith healthy. If we have Jimmy Smith healthy, then it's.
Obviously you're not worried about their passing defense because it's Corey Davis and A.J. Brown. You obviously put Marlon Humphrey on A.J. Brown and Marcus Peters on Corey Davis. You put Deontay Harris on their lowest receivers. So
and no target.
Their slot receiver. I don't know who their slot receiver is.
Adam Humphries.
It's Adam Humphries, but I don't know if he's been playing. I don't know who his replacement is, but.
Main concern is during goal line, if they don't give it to Derrick Henry, they'll give it to Jonnu Smith for a tight end sweep or a goal line fade route. Other than that, I really do like our chances because we were winning that game until the fourth quarter happened.
I could see Miami out of the playoff picture here. Maybe if the Ravens win out, I could see the Browns win out.
I could see all the teams losing at least one game. I could see it.
The Browns winning out? I don't see it.
They have to be Steelers.
But Adam, they're facing the two New York teams.
Yeah.
The Jets, who are the Jets, and I am making fun of my own team here. They are 0 and I don't even know what the record is now. 13, 14?
Yeah, 13.
0
and 13.
Yeah. So that's obviously an easy win. The Giants, what you saw against Arizona, their offense, their defense is there. The Giants, their offense, no. Daniel Jones is not your answer.
Did you see them against Seattle?
Yeah, that was Colt McCoy. That was not Daniel Jones.
Okay, they could put in Colt McCoy.
Yeah, but that's if will the Giants actually do that? I don't know. Probably not. It depends. Maybe they should roll with Colt McCoy. I don't think Daniel Jones is even your answer, and the Giants should probably look at another quarterback, to be honest. I don't think Daniel Jones is an answer here in New York, and maybe look at another wide receiver considering Sterling Shepard doesn't stay healthy. But overall, Cleveland could easily beat the Giants and Jets, and it's going to be a tough game in the last week of the season in Week 17 between the Browns and the Steelers.
And also, the Colts have to go up against the Steelers. Like, one of these teams is going to lose.
And then Miami has to face the Bills at some point.
One of these teams have to lose. Or one of these teams I could see losing easily. So I think the Ravens can get in. It's just a matter of who loses.
I like Cleveland's chances over Miami's and Indianapolis's. I don't really know Indianapolis' schedule. I know they have Houston, I think, this week. Obviously, that could be a win. I know they have Pittsburgh, so that's gonna be a tough game. I don't know who their other team is. It might be Tennessee. I don't even know if they played them twice, but oh no, I think it's Jacksonville. But overall, I don't know. I could see the Colts probably maybe making it just a slim chance of making it. Maybe getting that last spot. The Ravens can move up. They could probably knock Miami right out of the playoff picture because I don't really see Miami making it.
So,
close, but I don't know.
Do you see Baltimore being a contender this year at all?
Yeah, but I don't think they'll beat Kansas City. I just don't think they have the weapons necessary to beat Kansas City because Ronnie Stanley is out for the season. So I don't think they'll be able to stop the pass rush. And Lamar Jackson's going to be scrambling behind it. A decent, but not as good as it was last year, O-line. And Marquise Brown likes to drop passes. So, there's that. And I think they're just going to double Mark Andrews and basically say, beat us with whoever else. And I don't think he can.
See, I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say there are many teams in front of the Ravens. The Browns, one of them.
Are you serious? After what they just showed you, you still say the Browns are
Browns? They played them. And I like the Browns. I like the Browns this year. I think Kevin Stefanski's done a really good job in Cleveland, and I don't know. He could be the Browns could probably beat the Ravens, but in a close matchup. I'm not going to say that. But then you also have to look at the other four teams, like Pittsburgh. They beat them twice this year, but they're banged up, so we don't know what they're going to look like. Yes, Kansas City, another one.
COVID against the Steelers. We can win that matchup easy.
Okay, and then you got Kansas City and then Buffalo.
Are the only ones I'm worried about.
You got Kansas City, then Buffalo, and then you got Tennessee with Henry. If you face Tennessee, Henry's going to burn the Ravens again. That's what I'm going to say.
So. I don't think so, because we didn't have Brandon Williams or Calais Campbell in that game, and we still.
But let's be honest. We're talking about Derrick Henry here.
So we held him until the fourth quarter. If we just had those two people, what happens? I think we can win that game.
All right. Well, this is
unless the Ravens make the playoffs.
And all right, but then what's your excuse to the Bills?
I just think we can beat the Bills. I'm not saying it's going to be a dominating win, but I think we have a chance. I like our chances against the Bills more than I like them against Kansas City. Other than that, yeah, I could see us beating the Bills.
I really want to see a Bills and Ravens matchup here. I want to see Diggs on Marlon Humphrey. I want to see who does better between those two. But overall, I don't know. The Ravens, I don't think are going to be contenders in the Super Bowl this year.
Marlon Humphrey is going to try to erase Stephon Diggs. I think Diggs is going to have his. I think he'll have 60 or 70 yards, but I don't think he'll have a dominating day against Marlon Humphrey. I don't think he'll get a touchdown. So what that basically means is someone else has to beat them. And I don't think Cole Beasley or John Brown or the tight end Knox can beat them. And
then you got to look at your underdog, and then you got to look at your other receiver in Gabriel Davis. John Brown's been injured, so I don't even know if he's going to come back. I don't know what his timetable is.
Allowing him to get deep. That's just not going to happen.
But if you have Peters on Beasley and you have Humphrey on Diggs,
who's going to be on John Brown?
If John Brown's in the slot, or for example, Cole Beasley, then I have Jimmy Smith, and I'm not worried about that because Jimmy Smith still hasn't given up a touchdown in coverage.
But the only thing with Jimmy Smith is, can he stay healthy? Yeah, there it is. There it is. Can he stay healthy? Because I don't know if his temporary replacement right now, Harris is the answer. He got burned a lot. I don't even know. I think he committed.
I think we need one more cornerback to be on the active roster. I mean, to be active, because I don't think
that's if the Ravens decide to move on from Jimmy Smith. Obviously,
I'm talking about instead of running 4 running backs, I think we should just have another cornerback instead.
Okay. All right.
Even though I like Justice Hill, I think we need cornerback depth because Jimmy Smith just can't stay in a game for some reason.
I mean, Anthony Everett is another option, but I don't know what his story is.
If he can just stay in the slot, I'm fine. Because I think his problem is just like bigger targets. If Cole Beasley and John Brown are the targets, then I think he'll be fine.
And don't you guys have someone else?
As in what?
Corner, or you could put a safety maybe in the slot.
No, I like Chuck Clark where he is, and Deshaun Elliott isn't really.
Well, yeah, Chuck Clark and Deshaun Elliott are obviously going to be staying back, but isn't there like another safety? I feel like there's a safety that is injured.
No.
Okay.
No. And if worse comes to worse, we can always have Anthony Levine, who's a veteran.
Yes, that's who I'm thinking of. Anthony Levine.
He'll be fine.
That's what I'm saying. He could be the temporary replacement.
We'll see. But yeah, I could totally see us making the playoffs and at least getting to like the divisional round and at best case the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, so if you're looking at the race between in the hunt, when it comes to in the hunt, when the Ravens, Raiders, and Broncos, you can count the Raiders and Broncos out because the Raiders just fired their defensive coordinator. Their defense is young. Carr is not contending. I don't think the Raiders are getting there, but not even close to the playoff picture. Broncos, very young team, very unexperienced. They're not a playoff contender, and they have a 4 and what do they have, like a 5-7-ish record?
5-8.
5-8. Okay,
And
5-8 record.
The Raiders are also on the outside looking in. They're a game behind Baltimore right now.
Yep.
So they're still alive, but it's not looking great. They're having a little bit of a second half slump here.
I don't like the Raiders one bit. They just got destroyed by Indianapolis and Atlanta, and they almost lost to the 0-13 Jets. I'm not liking the Raiders in the playoffs, and I'm not seeing them in the playoffs.
Yeah, the defense just needs a little help. I don't think the offense is fine. Darren Wallace is stud at tight end.
He is.
And Josh Jacobs is Josh Jacobs. So I think their offense is fine. And Derek Carr is serviceable at quarterback. It's just their defense needs more help.
You're also going to mention that their offense is also missing another big piece.
They need that number one receiver. I'm not sure if Henry Ruggs is the answer. We'll have to see if he's one of those players who in his second year just steps up. But from what I've seen of Henry Ruggs, he kind of seems more of just a one-trick pony to me. He sort of just is that one guy where you huck up the deep ball to him every now and then when it's there. Yeah. But other than that, he's non-existent on that field. It's mostly been Darren Waller they throw to.
My thing, as far as Henry Ruggs, he goes for like contested catches. If you throw it deep and you give him a chance, he'll go for it. That's the thing. So I'm like,
he's proved that twice already.
I'm not saying he's like a true number one yet, but I've seen flashes where he could be a number one.
He's proved that twice. He's done that against Kansas City. He's done that against the Jets.
Kind of reminds me of Marquise Brown, kind of that deep threat who just you'll hit the deep ball, that explosive play every now and then, but other than that, he's just not there. And you forget he's even on the team at times.
I don't forget about Henry Ruggs.
I don't forget about Henry Ruggs.
I can't forget about Marquise Brown.
You don't forget about Henry Ruggs?
Nah.
No, if I face him, I'm aware of what he can do. And if you stop, he's leaving you with the 4.28 speed, so you have to be aware of him on the field.
With the Raiders, yes, Ruggs could be a threat years to come, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, your other guy, Renfro, is not really an answer there. Waller's mainly the reason. Here's a guy that I think people forgot about. Not playing this year due to COVID, Terrell Williams. Can he be one of those receivers that he's a sleeper? Ruggs could possibly be number one years to come. Obviously, again, like I said, can Williams be the number two?
See, I don't even think they're number ones on the roster, really. I think Henry Ruggs is more of the number two deep ball kind of guy. I think and I'm still not convinced with Derek Carr. I think he's just serviceable at best, but even if they get the surrounding roster, they're not going to wind up with what they need.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like. I have to say, I don't really like Derek Carr's quarterback. He struggles when he comes in those games against like Atlanta and Indianapolis. He struggles really badly.
I don't know why I don't understand
it either. He does so good against Kansas City. he won a game against Kansas City. That was the only one. That was only one loss that Mahomes went through, and he played them tough on that Monday night game. And then he faces teams like Atlanta and Indianapolis and the Jets, and he does that.
Yeah, he still threw the game-winning touchdown against the Jets. But,
oh yeah, but like that was like 20 seconds left. He threw a miracle and a prayer up there. And the reason why I think Carr basically won that game is because Greg Williams kind of wanted out of New York. He couldn't.
And you know who he threw it to? Henry Ruggs.
Yeah,
He can be it. It's just a matter of time.
I never said he can't. I just think when he's most of the 90% of the game, he's not there.
Well, yeah, obviously he's not like
the deep ball.
Obviously, he's not really like the best wide receiver rookie coming out. You like Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb are. Jerry Jeudy, I don't know what that'll happen to him.
He's getting conditioning. He's not really getting the ball in Denver.
I don't know why. I think it's because that offense is just too young. I think it's because Drew Lock's too young, and he also has like younger weapons in like Tim Patrick and KJ Hamler. Other than that, yeah, like I could see like I think the best rookie wide receivers coming out of the draft were Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb.
I think Jefferson is the best rookie this year. I think he has over 1,000 yards. The first
not CeeDee Lamb?
No, because his situation is much better. Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Andy Dalton is right now, and his CeeDee Lamb's quarterback situation.
Well, if Dak didn't hurt his leg, who would be the better quarterback?
I still think CeeDee Lamb. I mean, not CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson would be better.
If Dak didn't hurt his leg, I feel like CeeDee Lamb would have been the best wide receiver coming out.
That's fair, but I still think Justin Jefferson all around just would have had the better season.
Right. Okay, so that'll be it for us tonight. So make sure you follow us on YouTube, Fumblerooski Podcast, and Instagram as well at Fumblerooski_podcast. That's Fumblerooski_podcast. Make sure you watch our next week's episode, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye, guys.